representative, Access Group representative, Dr. Hassan Abdullahi, our managing director, Dr. Diambo, our directors present, CC Finance, and my esteemed customers. Good morning. And welcome to this meeting. As Bernard has said, we'll start with a word of prayer. And I request that we stand up for the word of prayer. Everlasting God, we want to thank you, Heavenly Father, for your mighty and everlasting God. We thank you for the gift of life and for everything that you have done, O God. You are mighty and everlasting God. We just love you, Lord, only Lord, for you are Lord. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for this day, for we can see that our bright day for us, O Lord. And we pray, Father, for your blessing this day, for the glory and honor of your name. We thank you for the journey mercies of us, O Lord. Even as we travel to this place, O Lord, we don't take for granted, Father, that you granted us journey mercies, O Father, for the glory and honor of your name. Thank you, Jesus, for this country, Kenya, Lord. I pray, Lord, bless the leadership of this country, O God. Bless the pastor of the house of the Lord. Give them, O Father, the wisdom rest upon them, O Father, that they will be able to continue blessing this country and take this country to west, Father, Lord. We pray, O Father, for the wisdom, that we will have good governance in this country, O God, so that, Lord, we may have a conducive environment for investors, O Lord, both local and foreign investment in this country, for the glory and honor of your name. We worship, O God, for such a wonderful God. But we thank you, Lord Jesus, for the leadership of Access Group, where National Bank is now a subsidiary of Access, O Lord. We pray for top leadership of Access, O Lord. Bless them, O God. Guide them, O Father, as they continue coming up strategy for the Access Group, O Lord. We pray the Father, O God, bless them. Guide them, O Father. They will be able to ensure those strategies, O Father, able to ensure we attain our vision for the bank to be the world most respected bank in Africa, Lord. The world most respected African bank. We worship, O Father, for your making it happen, O God. And Father, you are getting the Lord from leadership to the ground. We thank you for the National Bank leadership led by our director and our MD, George, O Lord. Bless our leaders, O Father. That will be cause of now that cannot block it, O God. They will be able to align to the vision of the group of Father, so that National Bank can be the most respected bank, not just in Kenya, but Africa in large, O Lord. Bless, O Lord, the leadership and bind the cause of that cannot block it to the glory and honor of your name. We thank you for our customers, O Lord. Bless our customers, O Lord. Bless the works of the hands of God. We pray that Father, Lord Jesus, get them, Father, to be able to tap into the big vision of the group of Father, so they will become global, O Lord. They will dream big, O Father, dream global, because they have a strong financial partner beside them, O Father, that we can take them to places, O Lord. We thank you for the Lord you are doing it for us in the mighty name of Christ. We thank you for this event, O Lord. We pray, Father, bless this event. Bless everyone who is going to speak in this event, O Lord. Guide them, O Father. Even as they speak, O Lord, we wish to bless upon the Father, that this video is a wonderful event for the glory and honor of name. Father, we thank you. Lord, we exalt you, Father, for trust in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Thank you. So welcome, my dear customers. We are humbled to have you here. You know, we don't take it just for granted that you come today. We want to just thank you for taking time to just come and be with us for this function.
Steve, for those wonderful prayers. So as I stand here, I'm talking to global customers. Did we receive that prayer? Did we receive that? Yes. We did. Great. Committee member Isomo. And of course, our very distinguished customers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. My name is Bernadette. I'm going to take you through the program this morning. And to kick us off, I want to invite Mr. Ken Oko, our Director, Corporate Banking, who is going to give us some few remarks. Ken.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. Firstly, allow me to thank you most sincerely for gracing this occasion to come and trade with us. We are very privileged to be in your company and your presence, so thank you so much. My name is Ken Oko. Something wrong with this. My name is Ken Oko.
get a better microphone. So my name is Ken Ouko. I hope you can hear me as I get my...
Thank you. My name is Ken Ouko. I'm responsible for corporate banking at National Bank of Kenya. Our role in corporate banking is to work with customers such as yourselves to co-create solutions that enable you to meet your financial ambitions. Ladies and gentlemen, in the recent months, National Bank has transitioned from a local organization or a local financial institution to a financial institution that has extended its reach beyond the Kenyan borders. National Bank can now take you to the regional countries of Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi. National Bank can now take you to Southern Africa to interact with entities or countries in the SADC and the COMESA area. National Bank can now take you to countries in West Africa so that you can interact in trade with the ECOWAS countries of West Africa. But in addition to that, National Bank has international reach as well. Through Access Bank PLC, we're able to take you to Europe, we're able to take you to the Middle East, and we're able to take you to China. So that transition is significant in the sense that before, where you're looking at us for our own local capabilities, we now develop capabilities that are far more global and are useful for you. So you might ask yourself, so how does this benefit you? You find that the capabilities that we had before in trade, in payments, in FX, have been buttressed by this new, can I call it, ownership of National Bank by Access Bank PLC. We can do more for you in trade. We can do for you when you have payments across the region, across Africa and across the world. We can be involved in complex project finance transactions that before were just a dream for us. So what I'm saying in short, ladies and gentlemen, is that we've grown deep and we've grown in breadth, and we are the cusp of great things as a financial institution. And I can beseech you to work with us so that we can grow together as we transition from National Bank to Africa to Access Bank PLC. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and I'm looking to interact with you guys later on today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's appreciate Ken once again. Thank you, Ken, and thanks for outlining our map in the world as Access. Next, I will call up Ms. Alice Kimoho, Director Retail, to share her remarks. Alice.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alice. I'm Director Retail Banking. First is to welcome all of you to this broadcast. It's nice seeing all of you. This is not the first time I'm meeting most of you. Asanteni sana for your support. We appreciate that you have worked with us throughout the years and you continue to partner with us. I take your branches. My colleague has given us the gist of where we are here today. But I take care of all the branches. And first is to now let you know that we are bigger and better. We used to have 85 branches. Now we have 107 branches. So you can see, so our network has expanded. So with that, you will definitely expect to find us everywhere in most of the counties, if not all the counties. So So the other thing I can say is that over the years you've given us feedback and on what you want us to improve on in terms of our products and services, and we continue to work on that. So as we progress and as we transit into access, you'll expect better services. Like my colleague has said, of course now we are global, so there are very many things that we can do across the borders. So I can only see us going to higher heights and supporting you as our customers to realize your goals and your dreams. So before I sit down, I'd like to introduce the branch managers who are there. I want to ask them to be upstanding. And not only the branch managers, all the staff of in the branches, who sit in the branches. So these are our staff who are here, not all of them, just a few. So in case you have any, inquiries, you want to know anything about our products, kindly feel free to engage them. Otherwise, we'll be here, even after the meetings, we'll engage further. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Great. Let's appreciate Alice, please. Thank you so much, Alice, for affirming our commitment to our esteemed customers. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is none other than our FD, Mr. George Odhiambo. Dare I say, a child of this region, and he is a very seasoned banker. Previously, the MD of BPR Rwanda, which is a subsidiary of KCB Group. Before then, with KCB Group at various senior levels. And George is a very seasoned banker. For those of you who have bothered to look at our accounts, you will see that since George joined the bank as the MD, the trajectory has been upwards. A very resilient person, a mathematician by education, very clear on the leadership path that he wants the bank to take, a practitioner, executive coach, and of course, very competent on governance and ESG matters. George Odhiambo, a child of this region. Having the time.
Thank you, Bernadette. I'm humbled. Good morning, everyone. Just like Bernadette said, when I'm here, I feel at home. And a few weeks ago, I met some of you at the Nyanza Club when Relay Falcon was hosting a golf tournament. A few of you did spend late evening hours with us. I must appreciate your taking time once again to be with us this morning, and allow me to also echo the recognition of the CC Finance and Economic Planning for Kisumu, Mr. George Ofongo. We don't take it for granted that you are here. Your presence here is symbolic to the association of National Bank of Kenya with the government, be it at county level or national level. And that is something that is written, captioned very well in our existence in this country. As Bernadette has said, this is my homeland. If I decide to go to visit my parents, it's just a 1 hour drive from here. And because this is very important for me, I have to start with this one. Allow me again to recognize and appreciate taking time at a short notice for Dr. Hassan Abdullahi to come from Tanzania to do that this morning. It is good practice as I do this kind of outreaches to invite colleagues who are in various subsidiaries of Access Bank Group with us. I was in Kitale yesterday to take feedback on my way here. I was in Eldoret also to listen to feedback. I spent time with the dons of Moi University, and we reminisced about history of National Bank of Kenya and institutions in this country. They cannot be written apart, they have to be written side by side. A long way we've come, and taking me back memory lane, many of you who went to school a little earlier, or my generation, there was an allowance given by the universities in this country called Boom. I believe many of you accessed it in National Bank of Kenya as your first bank account in early adulthood. After that, things happened, and fast forward, you found yourself trying to patronize services from other banks. And that heritage we cannot replace. If you remember well, or you can ask your neighbor if you don't remember well what 7 factorial was. That's how we used to call it. It used to be 5,040 shillings. And you get it every beginning of the semester. We used to call it 7 factorial. And before you got it, you are not going to school. Things have changed. When you're being paid to go to school, now we are paying to go to school. And that's the work we are in. Fast forward last year, 20th of March, the shareholder then announced a binding agreement to sell 100% shareholding of National Bank of Kenya to Access Bank PLC, and we did make that announcement at Ole Sereni in Nairobi, and also went through the media houses to make that announcement. 14 months later, we went through all the regulatory approvals, including Competition Commission of COMESA, Competition Authority of Kenya, Central Bank of Kenya, Central Bank of Nigeria, and many other regulators, internal boards, and shareholder boards, to then approve that we could transition the shareholding and then find our new space in the world. But earlier than that, 5 years before, another transition did happen, and that was local. And the local transition that happened from National Bank of Kenya being owned by significant shareholding from National Treasury, NSSF, and the listed shareholders at the stock exchange did take place. I think this is here to stay. This change of shareholding is here for bigger perspectives. If you are prone to doing business beyond this country, I think you have your space and your presence. Be it to the Western Africa, Southern Africa, Middle East, Western Europe, in the United States of America, the Caribbean, you will find Access Bank as your gateway to those markets in terms of your trade finance, importation, exportation, and also just basic transactions that you'd want to then accomplish your dreams. A number of you have given me feedback privately or in fora like this, that what happens next to the brand we so love. The brand you so love will keep the parts that you love most, infuse the new ways of doing banking that excites some of us to go and try elsewhere. I do recognize many of my customers are multi-banks because they love what they have, but they're looking for a little more that they still don't have. That a little more is coming back home. And that basically the investment in the digital financial services, they're going to continue investing massively on that. Our limitations of capital in terms of what you can access from us is now something that we are looking back as part of us and is not present today. 30th of May 2025, the transaction to transition the shareholding did happen on a Friday, and instantly we became compliant with the regulator. If you are an observer of what we publish, like Benedict says, you take note sometime in August when we publish our results that they look very different in terms of compliance ratios, in terms of performance. And the 1,500 staff that we have at National Bank of Kenya and the few hundreds in Access Bank Kenya will then start walking the journey to be one family, one bank, and be part of the global Access Bank PLC 30,000 staff members in 24 countries, 18 of them in Africa, as one family. I've spent a few times with executives of the Group PLC in Kenya and in Lagos, and the promise is real, that supporting our businesses to thrive is one at the core of their DNA that they want us to do. Access Bank PLC may not have necessarily started in this country, but it's just one among many other banks in this country that we cannot ask where they started, but we still accommodate them as a market. The founders of SBM are in Mauritius, the founders of Citibank are in New York, the founders of Sabank are in Johannesburg, the founders of UBA Bank are in Nigeria, the founders of Abib Bank are somewhere in Zurich, Switzerland. The founders of Bank of Baroda and Bank of India are in Delhi and in Mumbai. So that doesn't really bother this market. This market wants services, wants products, and wants responsiveness in terms of business development. Because the government and the county government of Kisumu and possibly a few customers from the neighboring counties of Siaya, Vihiga, Kakamega, Homa Bay, Migori are also here. The challenge we have in this region is ownership of the land, ownership titles. Please work with the respective agencies to have the surveys done and allocations, subscriptions done so that ownership can be updated. Many times when you want to support customers, you get stuck at the point of registration of charges and collaterals. And then subscription planning that takes longer. Services brought closer to us through the government of devolution is something that we can still harness more and more, and then be able to grow faster than we could. The generation that lived earlier in the 70s doing business, if you know some of them still, I was meeting one very old one in Kitale who started around Vihiga, Kakamega, Mr. Ngwere. He's very old now. They started doing business by saving, and the saving through farming, produce and sales. After them, a generation came that started doing businesses through debt. They were borrowing from banks and cooperatives to do business. Then after that, a generation followed that combined debt plus equity. You have a good idea, you don't have money. Someone has money but does not have a good idea. You came together and put equity into it and borrowed a little more. We are transitioning to a generation that is not doing any of those in terms of doing business. And they are children. We call them Gen Zs, and that has stuck. I think we'll soon find a better name to call them. They are investors of the future, and what they do to invest is to sell what you invested in. You know, that loan you took 20 years to pay. They feel nothing when they are selling it, that property. And why are you selling it? To start doing business? And they're not investing in things that you can touch. They're investing in stock exchanges. They're keeping their money in blockchain currencies. So they're not keeping their money in wallets or in other things that we do. So when we think we're too sophisticated today, a few years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they're our children. They'll wonder which world we lived in, how we even survived that world. You know, what looks very high-end communication means and real-time WhatsApp. Time is coming, they'll be wondering what a key thing is this that you are living on. You know, they will not want to look at that. When I first interacted with X, then Twitter, I thought it was a very high-end, sophisticated thing. We remaining there only old people who spread repeated, recycle the news. They are not there. I do not call my children. My parents were very happy when I could call them when I first bought them their mobile tests. They were very happy I could call them. My children get offended when I call that. Can we just chat? No. So things are changing so fast. And that's the newness with which National Bank of Kenya has found a new footing to team up with a new energy, a new DNA bank, Access Bank PLC. He's not as old as National Bank. He's not as old as the former shareholder. He's a new kid in the block of financial sector services. Investments that are modern, investments that resonate with what the world is looking to, investments that communicate with the rest of the world. So we are finding our new footing into diving into the new world without necessarily trying to rediscover what has been put in place. That is the real benefit that we're having now. So the leap jump into future will not take us decades, it will take us a few months, just a few months. So those territories that you never heard of, never thought of doing business, you find yourself going to Western Europe, some deep island called Malta, then you find Access Bank Limited there to do business. You find yourself in Panama, in the Caribbean, you want to do business and you're wondering how to connect, you find Access Bank there. You find yourself in Hong Kong, you find yourself having Access Bank next door to do business, free time with Kisumu. Some of those of your kins that moved many years back to those capitals in the Western Europe that you wonder how close they could be. Stop thinking too high. There's Access Bank in Paris, there's Access Bank in Hong Kong, Access Bank in London, So we are going global at a touch of a button, at a touch of a switch. We are going global without necessarily trying to walk the long route our predecessors did walk. I can't conclude by not thanking all of you for standing steady with us during the period that we transitioned into temporary shareholding. I would call that temporary shareholding incubation. That incubation time is over, and we are ready to do business and ready to serve. One good thing that never changes in National Bank of Kenya is what pronouncement was made when it was opened 1968, 19th of June. The first branch at Development House, Moi Avenue. There are only 20 staff members. A few of them are still alive. Occasionally I take time to call one or two of them, the very old people, and they remind me the speech was the shortest in opening of a bank. The then Vice President of this Republic, may his soul rest in peace, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, was to be the guest of honor to make a speech, and he got a call that he was to be somewhere else. He simply said, National Bank of Kenya is here to serve. Full stop, end of speech, and the bank started. That's what we are carrying forward. We are here to serve you. We are here to take feedback. We are here to listen. I would want to stop there. I was once a teacher at the School of Mathematics, University of Nairobi, so I talk too much sometimes. Thank you so much and have a good rest of the morning.
No, we cannot appreciate the MD like that. So I want us to take him back to college and give him a 7 factorial clap. Isn't it? Yeah. And this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the next one will be 1, 2, 3, up to 6. Then up to 5. Then up to 4. Up to 3, 2, and 1. Like that. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. Great, thank you, George. That was fantastic. I don't know what you had, but I had a 360 offering. Did you hear that? As our businesses are going global, we are going to get a 360 offering from National Bank. We are also going to be greater, bigger, with good support and a greater promise. And of course, better, bigger businesses. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Does it sound good to us?
Yes.
It's something we can live with, isn't it? Some good aspirations there, and actually, which we are very committed to actualize. Our next speaker is Dr. Hassan Abdullahi. He's representing our Executive Director Africa, and he is the Deputy Managing Director Tanzania Access Bank. He's a seasoned banker with close to almost 2 decades of experience in corporate, commercial, business banking, and very many other business areas that are within the bank. He has been a banker with Access Bank, among others, in South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana, and other markets, and now TZ. He is very experienced in the areas of manufacturing, telecommunications, hospitality, oil and gas, general commerce, mining, construction, fintech, public sector, and agri-business. He holds a doctorate degree in Business Administration from the Swiss School of Management in Switzerland, a master's degree in Banking and Finance from University of Wales, an MBA from Aglaé Ruskin University in the UK, a bachelor's degree in Mechanical Engineering from the Bayero University, Kano, Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Hassan is also a chartered banker, certified risk specialist. He's also a member of various bodies, like the Chartered Banking Institute in the UK, the Project Management Institute in the US, Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, and National Institute of Marketing in Nigeria. He's also a Chartered Institute Fellow of Loan and Risk Management of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join hands and welcome Mr. Dr. Hassan Abdullahi on stage.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, our cherished customers, for coming to this event. I feel privileged to be invited to the beautiful city of Kisumu. I don't think there's too much to say than what Ken has said, Alice has said, George has said, but I'll just try to give a small presentation. And today is not about us, it's about our customers. So we'll quickly, I'll push to round this up in 10-15 minutes, so we'll be able to take questions and clarifications and provide comfort to our customers. So once again, thank you for having us, and thank you for honoring our invitation. My presentation is just going to go through this outline from our legacy to leadership down to delivering values to our stakeholders. And by stakeholders, we mean our customers, we mean the regulators, we mean our staff members, and so much more. Yes, like George has said, MBK has been in operations for close to 60 years in the country today, and our dream as the Access family is not to stop that legacy, but to build on it, right? And what we are saying here is that the proud heritage of the institution called National Bank of Kenya will still be kept alive. We will only layer upon that legacy the financial savviness, the innovative approach of Access Bank, the technological advancement of Access Bank. Those are the things we're going to bring to the fore. And by and large, what we are offering is the one plus one from NBK and one from Access Bank coming together. It's not going to be two, it's going to be in the multiples of 3, 4, 5. That will enable us to serve our customers much more in a bigger platform and giving them opportunities to achieve their aspirations. I mean, who are we? Who are we? This is a very critical question that we are asked every day. And we say we are guided by these 4 principles in defining where we are as the Access family, right? The first is our purpose. We say we exist to make a positive change in Africa, right? By existing to make a positive change in Africa, we're not saying we want to be the most profitable bank in Africa. We're not saying we want to be the largest operations in Africa, but we're saying that we want to, we want to create a positive change. Positive change means that we partner with Kenya to take that up to 30-40%. That is positive change. We're partnering with the Central Bank, with the Ministry of Finance on the monetary and fiscal policy to achieve the aspirations of the country. That's positive change. So in Access, we are not about profit. So profit is gotten as a consequence of doing many good things, many positive things, you do it, and in the end, that's what now turns to profit. So that's what drives us, our purpose. The next thing I want to speak to is our vision. We say our vision is to be the world's most respected African bank. By being the world's most respected African bank, it means that every staff member of NBK, which is now part of the Access family, would be able to stand toe-to-toe with any banker right in the world. You put them with the best class international banks, right? Will be exposed to the same training, same training, better working conditions. That is what we say. That is one thing that takes you to be the world's most respected African bank. And for our customers, right, we'll be able to give our customers the best-in-class services and products. Right? That is only when our customers will know that they are working for, they are partnering with a truly world-class bank. One thing we say in Access today is that we don't open accounts for customers. We open opportunities and possibilities for customers. That is what we take pride in. The next thing I'll say here is we want to be the Africa's first global bank. Today, we have to look for banks. Many banks are exiting the African market, right, based on their different strategies and growth plans. But here is an African bank, right, taking the initiative to expand on the continent. Like George said, we're staff strength of about 30,000 workforce, both professional and contract staff, right, spread across about 24 countries, which is going to go to about 30 countries before the end of the year. So that is what we're saying. Based on this large, widespread workforce, we're saying we want to be Africa's truly global bank. And we've also said here that we want to be Africa's gateway to the world. What that means is that our dreams and aspiration as the Access family is that for every one transaction that is done, Access Bank platform will be able to handle 1 out of every 3 transactions that is done on the continent today. So that is our plan. So those aspirations are very high, but there has to be an African bank for Africans chasing the African initiatives to help us drive this dream. Our mission is setting standard for sustainable business practices that unleash the tenets of our employees, deliver superior values to our customers, and provide innovative solutions to the markets and communities we serve. The markets and community we serve are our stakeholders. And our values are the 6 items: leadership, excellence, empowered employees, professionalism, passion for customers, and innovation. Passion for customers is very key. We take our customers as king. Our customers are the center of everything we do today, right? Typically, as we begin to onboard our new customers into the Access family, we have an outside-in approach. So in our strategy sessions, we bring our customers into our strategy sessions and tell us what you want. How should we serve you better? So it's an outside-in view. We're not coming to the customer that, I know you need this, no. So we're taking a step back, listening to our customers and remodeling our offerings to serve the need of our customers. If you ask me, what does it take to succeed in National Bank of Kenya, which is now part of Access Bank Group today, I'll tell you, if you live your life by these 6 core values, you will succeed as an institution. Whether you're the managing director, whether you're the driver, we live our lives by these 6 core values. Okay, so this is a widespread, this just gives a pictorial representation of where we are today. With about 63 million retail customers on the continent today, it puts us on the stage of arguably being one of the largest retail banks on the continent, right? We have 5 verticals in the Access Holding families. The banking vertical being the flagship, we have the insurance, we have the payment, we have the consumer lending, and we have the pension business. So if I limit this conversation to the banking conversations, our banking offerings are set to our customers through 4 prongs. The corporate banking, corporate banking, that is the IN, commercial banking, which fits the needs of the emerging corporate, business banking, which fits the need of the SMEs, right? And the retail banking, which fits, and digital banking, which is part of it today. We are listed on the London Stock Exchange. Our flagship office is in the UK, Access UK today, arguably the largest African bank in the UK today. We are also listed in the Irish Stock Exchange as well as the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We're rated by the world renowned rating agency, and those ratings are stated in Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's. Like George said, we work for about 30,000 people, and we have a gender balance of about 53% male and 47% female. This just gives a snapshot of our global footprint. Today in Africa, if you don't mind, if I go through the names one by one, we're present in Guinea, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Congo, South Africa, Cameroon, Ghana, Gambia, Botswana, Mozambique, Kenya, Angola, Zambia, Rwanda, Tanzania, Namibia, Uganda, Ivory Coast. This Namibia, Uganda, Ivory Coast operation will be going live, and it will be getting the final regulatory approval, say, Q3, Q4. So that takes us to be about 20 African countries, right? And we continue to, and Mauritius is also coming on board as well. One of the largest banks in Mauritius, called Afresia Bank, is now coming. We got educative approval that they can now be a subsidiary of Access Bank PLC. In Europe, we have our flagship office in the UK, Access UK, which is, what I said, arguably the largest African bank in the UK. We're present in France, Malta, and in the Middle East, we're present in Lebanon, United Arab Emirates, that's Dubai, India, China, Hong Kong. The license for the Access New York office is about maybe 60, 70, 80% done, and that operations go live in 2026. So you know what is done? We've given our customers opportunities to trade within all these geographical widespread. We have a product called Access Africa today. What that means, that product in essence, if I could explain it as simple as possible, is you walk into the National Bank of Kenya office in branch in Kisumu, you drop, for discussion purposes, 10,000 shillings, and somebody in South Africa picks the equivalent in rands same day, or gets it in his account or picks it across the counter. So that's how we want to connect our businesses. That is the goal. Talking about the SMEs and corporates, we want to connect our customers to their suppliers, right? We want to have a hub, increase trade flow, and it's bring our customers on the map, right? So that's the goal. To give comfort in terms of our ranking on the continent today, this shows the top 20 banks or banking group on the continent, which Access Bank falls into. Access Bank is the 12th largest group on the continent, right? This list is dominated by the South African banks and the North African banks. And we know why, because of the stable currencies. In the East Africa and West Africa, we've been unfortunate with the devaluation and the currency depreciation. So that has not helped our case because these are in dollars, right? These rates are in dollars. But today, it is put us at the 12th largest banking group on the continent. The goal here is to be a top 10 bank before the end of next year, if I get it correctly. And our goal in every market to play, this is not a market, this is Africa. Our goal in every market to play is to be a top 5 player. I'll speak to it in our subsequent slide. Why we need to be on the need to be a top 5 player in every market that we find ourselves. This slide resonates with me very well. This is just speaking about connectivity and intra-Africa trade. Today, intra-Africa trade sits around around 15-16%, compared to intra-Asia trade and intra-North American trade, which hovers around 50 to 54%. Intra-Europe trade today sits at over 70%. So what that means is that there's a lot of gap, there's no connectivity, right? And there has to be a bank, right, that is driving this conversation to create this connectivity on the continent. So that's where Access Bank comes in, right? There are a lot of opportunities in the market. The African continent is the fastest growing market and land filled with opportunities, right? With the access to close to over $3 trillion in GDP, right? Over 370 million population, and these metrics is. So the goal here is to help us increase our financial flows, right? Eliminate tariffs for international, for intra-Africa trade, and in the long run, right, boost regional integration. So for this to happen, this can't be done by the government alone. There has to be a bank that works closely with this government and present. And you can only achieve this if you are present in these different countries. So that's where Access Bank is driving this conversation. We host a lot of intra-African trade conversation. We held one in Cape Town just a few months ago, invited every stakeholder on the continent to come and let's speak about how can we booster, this conversation to ensure that our customers benefit, right? Why can't I get my customer from here, from this beautiful town, trading and working with the Rwanda suppliers to help them grow their business in a very streamlined and hassle-free manner. So that's the conversations we're bringing to the table. I won't bore you with this slide. I'm just going to highlight our African strategies anchored around these 4 points, right? 1, trade, which is import and export, which was spoken extensively about. Payments and remittance, which is one of our strengths, right? Retail and alternative channels, which is digital banking, right? And most importantly, global relationships and public institutions. The Kenyan opportunity, which is why we're here. Kenya is a very, very unique market and provide opportunities, right, for any banking association. You listening to when George was speaking and he had reeled out a couple of international banks which are doing very well here. And that is driven by the economy, over $130 billion in GDP, right? Arguably top 7 economy on the continent and driving to be a top 5 economy on the continent, right? With the financial inclusion and growing at a fast pace. We used to call, we from West Africa used to call Kenya the Silicon Valley of Africa. I mean, every leading in terms of the digital conversation, digital banking conversations. So this portends a very, very unique opportunity for growth in terms of financial services. The GDP of Kenya, the growth rate for the GDP of Kenya is above Africa's average of 4%. So that shows you how stable the economy is and we'll be able to work with our customers to take advantage of all these opportunities. The combined entity today, when Access Bank, Kenya and MBK comes on board, takes the combined entity to a top 12 bank in the about 40 banks in the country, right? So it goes to a top 12 bank in terms of total assets, top 11 bank in terms of total loans, and the top 12 bank in terms of total deposit. But one thing I would like to say here is that 1 + 1 is not normally 2, right? So for us in Access, we say 1 + 1 is 4, because we're about to double all this. In every market we play, the goal is to be a top 5 player in every market. We have a 5-year strategy for every market, and the goal is to be a top 5. And Kenya is not excluded from this, right? We stand at a very unique place today, a unique point, in the sense that with the local market knowledge and legacy of MBK, layering on the innovative and technological Pan-African presence and global reach of Access Bank, coming together in the same room, right, gives us access to unlimited possibilities. So that is what we are driving. That's the conversation that we are having here. So 1 + 1 will be. As we begin to drive this conversation home, right, the MBK Access story is not just a new chapter, right? Like we said, we're writing a new Kenyan success story with our customers being on the front page, with our staff members being on the front page. So that's the conversation that we're selling, right? Our stakeholders, like I said earlier, our customers, our staff members, our regulators, right? Our commitment to them are sacrosanct, right? In terms of our customers, we'll continue to provide, improved and enhanced product offerings, right? We'll give our customers access to international global network and opportunities, right? Like we said, we're present in our expansion plan is driven by, commercial decisions. So you see Hong Kong, you see China, you see Dubai, you see India. These are large trading partners. That is why we're having presence. It's not because of those markets are just fanciful. It's just because we want to be able to serve our customers. We've also said we're going to be bringing access to capabilities, training, technology, right, within the Access Enhanced group to our customers, which is the key thing we're selling. In terms of our staff members, we assure our staff members that we're giving our staff members, a new lease of life. They're open to, they're staff members of 24 countries. You can work in 24 countries. We are open to opportunities and growth prospects within the entire Access family. And to the regulators, we continue to commit in terms of, we have stronger balance sheet, stronger capital play, right? Better liquidity play, just to ensure that the financial system is strong. So these are the about seven value creation potentials which will be centering upon the, we'll get economies of scales from this, which I said, right? Alice mentioned from 30 to about 100 and something branches. So we begin to drive economies of scale. So the larger banks are the big, for every market, larger banks dominate. You can't create change if you don't have scale. So that's why this is very important, right? So let me go to the next slide. So this integration approach, this business combination between Access and NBK, we said we'll use these key principles, and we've also put out some success matrix in this. Over the last 23 years, Access Group has done about 25 mergers and acquisitions. And George and myself, we were just speaking last night, we said no two mergers and business combination acquisitions are the same. We begin to learn we're open to learning, but we're quick to make changes. We're quick to respond to those nuances that we see along as we go. So we say we'll focus on our customers, which is key. We'll make the disruptions to the current operations as minimal as possible, right? We continue to create a stable environment. We begin to have new business quick wins based on the combined business, right? Our people will be treated fairly, right? Which is key. Without our people, we can't serve our customers, so our people will be treated fairly, right? And we'll continue to factor in local nuances into our operations. So nobody is making a decision from London, from Lagos, from South Africa, right? So we'll provide guidance and allow those decisions to be localized, right? Those are the local nuances that we said we are going to see. We've also said we're going to have a target operating model that will help us achieve our objective as a group. Like we said, they are not just customers. We don't see you as customers, but we see you as part of our story, right? It's a new book we're writing, and we'll be privileged to have you on board as part of the story, right? And part of being part of these stories is that you have access to improved digital banking platforms, right? And we as a bank will have improved capital strength, and when you have improved capital strength, that enables you offer premium services to your customers, right? The continued presence of our NBK staff members in every location continues to help us serve our customers in a very relaxed and comfortable manner, right? And most importantly, we open our customers, right, to limited opportunities. Like we say, from Kisumu to the world, right? We open our customers to the limited opportunities in the world. What stays? What remains the same today? Your account numbers remain the same. It's not going to change, right? The same services you get. We say you get, with this business combination, the minimum you won't be left in the worst place. The minimum you get is what you're getting. But most importantly, based on the combination, you begin to get improved services, right? So that's what I'm saying to you. What again remains? The local branches that you used to be being served, the faces that you used to be in will still remain. Those are not changing, right? Your relationship manager still remains your relationship manager, to continue to serve you. So what grows? I don't want to say what changes, what grows. Today we're at about 750 branches on the continent, Remember the Access Africa that I said is just to have you are part of a 63 million customer family, right? And you enjoy the same services, right? Premium services that goes. Nothing stops any of our customers here that goes to Joburg, right? And can enjoy the facilities at our premium lounge. They're just being a customer of Access Bank family, right? So we say Access Bank, or we say Access Bank family, right? We have our Pan-African Payment Solutions, which will be, we have a world-class internet banking facility called the Primus Plus. In its best form, it's a one-stop shop. You can do everything you want on that platform. From reconciliation to international payment to remittances, you can do it on that platform, right? So we say we are building with you, right? What matters, right, to you, our customers, is what drives us, right? And in ending, I'll say welcome to a continent-wide network. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hassan. I think we are going to appreciate him with 10 factorial. Am I right to say that? Yes? 10 factorial. Ready to go? Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. No, you can't start that way. Okay, are we ready? Yes. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. Great. Thank you so much. What did we hear? Please have a seat. Thank you. What did we hear? Hi, this is an exam. This table is exempted. I am coming round. As we set the stage, my team, we are going into the Q&A, but what did we hear? Let me see who was with us. Any volunteers? Any volunteers on what we had? We learned new marks, isn't it? Well, are you a professor? Hey, was he in the room or not? He was so in the room. Wow. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. Another conversation. Did we learn new math? Anyone learned new math? 1 + 1 is what? Sorry? Yeah, imagine. Can you imagine today, after going back to your business, 1 + 1 will be 4? Are you imagining that conversation? But it can only happen if you're with us for the long haul, isn't it? So we are going to have a Q&A session, and I'm expecting very lively questions coming through. We have a mic on that side and another on that side, and I think we can have another on Jerusha. Do you mind? And receive the questions, and they'll be comprehensively answered. So this is your moment, our dear customers, to ask anything whatsoever that you would want clarified or to understand better. So over to you.
The hospitality industry have been on and off, and they are my bankers all that time. My first question is to Mr. Odhiambo. I heard you talking about the Gen Zs. I don't know what demographic number we talk about when we talk about the Gen Zs. Because if I may ask, how many people are in here who are less than 30 years? Hands? Yet Mr. Odhiambo said it's a very important demographic group. And in Kenya, I think they constitute about 65% of the population, if I'm not wrong. But the banking sector has seemed to neglect them. I saw or I heard M-Pesa is going to be lending up to 400,000 shillings. I don't know if anybody saw that. I don't know what National Bank is doing so that they can counter that, or Access Bank is doing to counter that. Because if you don't, you may be dealing with a sector that you don't know, you don't understand, and you may not improve. That is the future, as you said. That's number one. Number two, as I sat here and they introduced National Bank staff, they were sitting in silos. I'm a diplomat, so I understand sometimes when you sit in silos, you talk among yourselves about banking, yet you forget about the customers you're supposed to interact with. If you are going to be interacting with customers, and by the way, the three of us sat there, we thought maybe the MD and the others would come and join us. But we were told, no, you cannot sit there. So you guys sit there, you don't interact with us, then you'll say we are customers and we are valued. It is something you may want to think about. Because it also involves the Gen Zs. If you interact with the Gen Zs, you will not sit there and they sit here, because they'll be busy with their phones, doing their own things, and you think you're getting to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll take one more, and then they can answer both.
Thank you so very much. My name is Bishop, the newest customers with the National Bank of Kenya. We just opened multiple accounts with the National Bank across the country. Now, from the look of things, we are now going to be Access Bank PLC. Now, my question is, are we in partnership with other banks outside Kenya? Because I know some countries, like developed countries, I don't know whether you are just going to open a bank straight away or you are going to partner with them. Because I've seen in, if you've been flying a lot, like Sky Partnership, if you're flying KLM, and you have Air France, it's just one thing, or Delta in the US or whatever. So are we going to have some kind of partnership, or is just going to be Access Bank? And I've seen there is one that's going to happen in New York. I happen to be a World Citizen. So are we going to have the same in that only one state, or you are going to have other branches or some co-partners in the US in multiple states? I think that's my question for now.
Thank you very much. We're going to take that over to you, panelists. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning once again. I appreciate feedback, and feedback is what makes the world change in the right direction, on and off starting also. Meaning that at some points in this conversation, there are moments you have not met your expectations. And that has made you look for them elsewhere. So we are here also to connect the dots. You did talk about concern of Gen Zs or their demography missing in this room. We have different communication media that hit different groups of customers. So basically, this is not their main setup of meetings. And they do prefer meetings that are online, and they do have a very popular media they call the Space in X. That's where they want us to meet them. Because when we ask how do you want us to have this conversation, a few of you, who represents many of you, do prefer face-to-face meeting, either in the morning or in the evening. And that is what informs our being here. They are not forgotten, they work for us. And the fact, response and feedback we get from our own staff. In National Bank of Kenya, 51% of the staff are female, 49% are male, and about 55% are people below 35 years of age. So when we are trying to have outreaches, we start with them. How do your peers want to be met? and we increasingly ceding ground. A few years ago, dress code was a very serious issue at workplace. In some departments, we are starting to ease, especially in IT. We are not as strict with them as we are strict with the people at the front line. Their working pattern and hours are not as rigid as the people you see in the front line. I can tell you for a fact that my IT staff, I don't see them frequently, but they work. Sometimes they spend half of the days working at home, working in office. What they require is an API, a connectivity, and they deliver that. So I appreciate your feedback. It is something that we do not ignore. In terms of M-Pesa going to be lending 400,000 through their platform, M-Pesa works with banks. M-Pesa does not compete banks. They do not have the capacity to do what banks can do for now. They could build it in future. Using the infrastructure and connectivity, we work with them. We already provide payment services to that extent. Being a regulated bank that must assess credit access as well, we have limitations of what people do. Banks have the technology, banks have the capital, banks have the liquidity. But then assessment of who you give a debt to has to respect the existing regulations. We will listen to you, we'll co-create with you. I believe your need will be more than this as a business person. And when we co-create with you like we do with various customers, we will respond accordingly. Thank you for that feedback and also for reminding us that the big demography not in this room. We will have their time in the space we've chosen to meet and to have conversation with. The feedback of NBK staff introduced here sitting amongst themselves and also not necessarily mixing with you. I think that feedback taken, it could be better. The conversation that began by Ken Ouko talking about will be interacting after this session, and they'll be reaching out to you, reaching out to them as well. Culture is a very important part of our existence. If we don't evolve, we miss some steps. So you not being allowed to sit at some place is something that I've also taken feedback. I would want my team organizing this to take note of that as well, because it's not for any other reason for exclusion that that was done. Far from it. I've never been a champion of exclusion. We want to be inclusive, we want to walk this journey together with yourself. Amongst you, there are people who've done banking, there are people with families who are bankers, there are people who are in diverse areas of businesses that you do. I'll stop it there and possibly ask Dr. Hassan to respond to Bishop Were. But first of all, I appreciate you for being our new customers, and we thank you together with your congregation. We ask that you continue putting us in your prayers as we go through change. As we travel globally, please explore what more you can get and also continue giving us feedback in the various structures that you interact with. Your question will be responded to by Dr. Hassan Abdullahi, our guest for this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Bruce Maseti, for your comments, feedback well noted. And thanks, Cedric, for your question as well. Right, so today, partnership in banking is that's the only way we can grow. You can't do it alone, right? Speaking to partnerships, the kind of partnerships we have for trade, we're partnered with various international banks to provide correspondent banking relationships for us, without wanting to mention names, but most of the global banks help us augment our trade in terms of letters of credit and supplier payments, right? That is that. So in numbers, I know over 30 that the Access Group has relationship with, and on a daily basis, we continue to grow as we expand our market. So yes, we can do that. So correspondent banking relationship, 100% partnerships, right? 2, The other partnerships we have is with international developmental financial institutions. So if I put names like the African Development Bank, AFDB, right, Afrexim, right, these are partner banks that help development in the emerging market where we find ourselves in Africa. So we have different partnerships with them, and what those partnerships entails is providing funding, right, to specific markets. So this guy says, I want to support the manufacturers in Kisumu, right? We get subsidized loans from these developmental financial institutions and partners, and we'll be able to augment. So we now act as local administrative agents that carry the credit risks of those partnerships. So yes, we have those partnerships as well. So those we continue to do. In terms of growing the business today, we have various partnerships with fintechs. So our idea is instead of competing and getting $1, why not us collaborate and get $2? So that's the conversations we're having with the fintech today. So we don't see you as competitors. We say, okay, come, let's do this thing together. We'll give you access to our 63 million customers. You give us access to your speed, service, and security. So that we'll be able to serve our customers. So various partnerships, right, subject to regulatory approvals and all, we continue to do them, right, to ensure that our customers are being served. So I think I'll stop for now. Thank you.
Is not restricted to the National Bank and Access partnership. So having so many branches across the globe, does it guarantee that these services is only restricted to National Bank and Access? Because any other bank can have access to that system and there's no monopoly. So I can as well go to another bank. What will be your advantage over the other banks? Now, secondly, I want to look at the products you offer. You have so many products which have been alive to, but the rigidity within these products cannot satisfy all the customers' needs. Are you going to co-create so that you can have customer that is products that are customer specific? Lastly, I want to commend you for the work you've done. But I would like to request that you leave the branding of National Bank the way it is. Otherwise, if you change it, I believe you are going to lose a number of customers. Because
about how some of us interacted with NBK. Me, for example, the first time I came to NBK was actually through Bloom. We got to Bloom twice. And I've stuck with NBK since then, to date. And I've never went. I've seen even the background now, I'm not seeing any access there, which is a good message you're passing. But is it what is going to happen? After we leave here, we're going to be told now, we are going to operate as access, and access, this is the rules, this is the color, this is the culture, and this is the practice. And that shock might make some of us feel very uncomfortable. So we want an assurance that NBK being a subsidiary, is it going to retain some of the good things that has kept us there for all these years? Or are we going to get the shock of weakness that access is coming with? Lastly, I've seen emphasis on the good thing that is coming by access coming in. But I've had very little of the effect of access coming in is going to have on the customer, and even National Bank as a branch and as a bank. I say this because I remember when I had just graduated, a young advocate, and I think I had only 4,600 in my account. And the bank where that money was, I think had been taken over, or major shareholding was taken by the branch of South Africa of that bank. Let me not name it. The first thing they did, everybody who had money less than 5,000, come and get your money and close your account. And we had to line up there getting our money in cash and you close your account. It was very humiliating. I hope your coming in will accommodate both the big customers, the middle customers, and the young customers, so that National Bank, that has history with this nation, can continue with that history. Thank you very much.
We can take those two and then we take another set. Thank you.
Thank you for those questions and the comments therein. We touch on a number of them, and then my colleague will also touch on them. Julius Manyala, thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for your comment. Your environment of operation in this country for a long time had not been put in the front line or in the center of economic development. That is the blue economy where you operate, that encompasses what you do, and that is coming to the mainstream. That was the comment that you did just pass by in what you do. The PAPS, the payment system, the Pan-African system, there is no monopoly. Banks join it willfully and provide platform for their customers to be able to operate. Those who don't have much details about it is trying to enable payments to other African countries cross-border without necessarily passing through London to convert euro or the US to have dollars move. I was privileged a few years ago to sit in the Commercial Business Council Board to discuss these Pan-African payment systems. I sit there, but not as active as I was when I was in Kigali. And this one, there's no monopoly. Nothing stops any other bank from joining. Access Bank PLC subsidiaries are already part of that. And other banks in this country have also signed for that. Meaning if you want to send Kenya shilling to Zambia, you receive as kwacha, it doesn't have to pass through an economy and the currencies to be able to be converted to the other side. We are too fragmented as a continent, and that makes payments very expensive. And that, for many reasons, have made the international global payment systems take advantage of us through other various means. And that, I can guarantee you, what Access Bank, PLC, and National Bank of Kenya subsidiaries do layer in front of all that accessibility by everyone is our reach. Our customers give us feedback. Many reasons our customers stay with us because we are accessible. We can be reached, not the name of Access Bank. Even before that, we can be reached. You can call me, you can call anybody. If we miss your call, we'll call you back. That is not something that is guaranteed in every financial institution in this country. Being able to reach us, despite of various limitations, has made customers stay with us. That's the advantage that we want to carry forward. Our community engagement, our ability to serve people irrespective of whether we are going to be able to make profit after that one, has carried us forward from 1968. There are 15 locations in this country that no bank opened a branch because they were not considered viable. If you are in Meru County, there's a town called Kianjai, the market center. The only bank you see there is National Bank of Kenya. That is not going to go. If you are in Migori, in Awendo, the only bank you will see there is National Bank of Kenya. So if you are in Awendo and you don't bank in National Bank of Kenya, you either go to Kisii or you go to Migori. So our DNA of being present to make impact irrespective of commercial outcomes, that will continue happening. In terms of our products that are considered to be not very responsive to the needs of the customer today, that is the overhaul that is going on. We are not coming with a straight jacket to say that this is what we have, we fit in or we fit out. We are listening to your feedback. And the financial system is changing so that we must be able then to respond to what you're asking. There is always a near solution to what you're asking for that we can tweak your need to fit in. For a long time, there are sectors that were not playing. But because of listening to customers, we continue to be able to respond to that. So I would want this conversation to continue, Julius. And I believe you are a fisherman in Lake Victoria. So my customers and my staff in Kisumu, around Awendo, in Kisumu, will be able then to reach to you if you time allow after this conversation. To Council Geoffrey Yogo, you wonder which sector you are in. I have a brother who is a magistrate. He tells me that they never work in practice. So even if there's something wrong, they were practicing. So we thank you for your profession because you make our contracts work and people respect that. What LBK will be after this is that we are bigger, stronger bank, we emerge stronger. We'll be able then to have international outreach, we'll be able then to have cultures that are diverse enough to be able to connect you to the businesses you do out. We cannot for certain say everything that will be, but for the start we know what will be. The emergence of what will be in the future will involve how we interact with us, how we interact with you. But for a start, we can assure you internally the expectations, externally the expectations. A few of my staff have asked me if they can register for certain trainings to learn Portuguese. So they want to go and work in Mozambique or Angola. So the expectations internally. Externally, there are also expectations. The trade rules that you rely on other people to make work, can you do it directly? Can we facilitate those connections for you? Can we open those LCs and the suppliers in those other countries can reach you directly? So the expectations for a start are that we are going to be a better institution, a better bank, a better financial services provider. As this emerge, more will come. How it's going to affect NBK is that change is always uncomfortable sometimes. I've told you we go through this over 14 months in preparing our staff, in preparing our stakeholders what this change will mean. How it affects us that we want to retain our local values that are liked. We want to infuse the new values so that we become a better brand, a better, stronger partner in the financial development. You did mention about Transnational Bank. That was the predecessor of Access Bank Kenya that we know today, and you wanted to find out how the customers are feeling. You wanted to find out also what then, no, let me take that one first. We are running a survey, we've run 2 surveys, we are running a 3rd one with the recognized survey institutions. Ipsos Synovate is doing that for us. So those customers are telling us what they're feeling. A number of them are looking forward to this unification of the one license in Kenya. So they want National Bank of Kenya and Access Bank Kenya to be one bank. They want to be able to enjoy the services that they can't get in Access Bank Kenya today. And they also want us to then improve the process like we're taking through the process. Access Bank Kenya customers are also having meetings with some of us, talking to these issues. They want to understand that. 5 years ago when KCB did have a conversation with yourself and you did give KCB feedback that you can do what you're doing, but keep our cultures, keep our ethos. We want to remain what we are going forward and our practices to be left. KCB did listen to you, and that I believe still happened. So that's why the KCB Group PLC that owns KCB Bank Kenya Limited did also own National Bank of Kenya, and we kept on running 2 sister companies in one market. So that voice was loud and clear. The survey we are doing now will again come back to you to talk to us about that. It is not yet the time that we are talking about branding. We are talking about unification of our process, of our policies, harmonization of our IT platforms. We are not at the point of talking about the brand. But when we come to that, we'll again come back and ask you for your feedback. It's very unfortunate the experience that you went through, that a bank came to this country and asked us to line up and close our accounts if you are having a minimum balance for a certain amount. I think that is not an issue that we can even imagine can happen. Banking has since moved from exclusion. That was an exclusion mechanism. Banking is universal. Everybody who needs access to financial services should not be stopped. That will be criminal to do in this country. I think we've developed well enough to have consumer protection and laws that would not exclude people on the basis of the size of their wallets. So everybody should have space to participate in the banking services and the sector as a whole. I would want to hand it over to Dr. Abdullahi if you have something to add.
Nothing to say. I mean, there's nothing to say after all you said. I mean, you've done a very great job to address those critical issues. And just one more, just like addition, Godfrey. Like you said, it was quite an unfortunate situation. right? But the banking has grown from there, right? So you remember whilst I was making the presentation, I mentioned the 4 business segments, right, that we operate. So corporate banking, which is the top echelon of the business, bronze, the commercial banking, the business banking, and the retail banking. And our commitment to our customers is to make them grow. So by making our customers grow, is that you see the guys in commercial banking, we want to grow them to be corporate. We want to grow with our customers to be corporate. So you see the individuals that were being lined up, right? We want to grow with those customers for them to transition their businesses and their individual dealings into SMEs and business banking names. So that's what we're selling. That's what's going to make us different. So we grow. This is a partnership. We wouldn't close. Remember, Benedict said 1 + 1 is equals to 4. So if you want to achieve 4, how do you close? You have to grow it together. So we rest assured that you're in priority and no one is going to be left on the tarmac. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There's one hand here. Maybe take.
Thank you, MD and colleagues. Good morning. So we had a very good meeting. I think the key issue was whether we are going safe or we are going unsafe with Access Kenya. So we had a lot of worries. I think when Ken Ouko came, we had a good engagement. I think what we are looking for is what we promised, 3 things. That with the partnership with Access Kenya, we get what we call financial stability. There will be professionalism and of course customer focus. We have gone with the bank for quite long. We don't know any other bank other than National Bank. So as part of the state corporation, we look forward to constructive engagement, some of trade finance and other products, so that our businesses can continue growing in this space. So I think this engagement is important because part of the reassurance. But what I'm asking the bank and the MD is that we would love that we don't change quite often. You know, this change came too fast. We were just KCB subsidiary the other day. So I'm not sure. So you need to give us comfort that we'll be in the arms of Access Kenya for 5 years to come or so. Otherwise, I think we look forward to brighter numbers going forward. We'll work together. Thank you very much.
Public institutions that I represent, whether they're county governments or even the other government agencies that you serve. First of all, I think we take very positively the feedback from George, the MD, on access to financing and documentation and titles and so on. And the county government does not necessarily have that mandate to issue the kind of documentation that you need for those transactions, especially on land. But we have a role to play when it comes to other properties, and I want to take that feedback back to my colleagues, not just in Kisumu, but also elsewhere. I think it's a very important thing. If you remember, there is a Spanish economist who wrote a book, actually. He said the book was called The Mystery of Capital, Why Capitalism Thrives in the West and Fails Everywhere Else. It was written by somebody called Hernando. And the point he was making was that without documentation, especially documentation for property, you are not able to borrow and those kind of things. And I think that point is important. The question that I have, really in the interest of the county governments, is the plans that you have to broaden our engagement beyond the opening of bank accounts. I listened to Dr. Hassan's presentation, and by the way, Dr. Hassan, when you introduced with all those degrees, I thought you were a duo. It's only duos who go to school like that. You can as well call yourself Onyango or something and it will pass. Going by your CV. But more seriously, I think we as county governments are looking forward to engaging beyond the opening of accounts. And you mentioned that that's what you really want to do, because we have specific challenges that we think our partnership with commercial banks should deal with. And one of those is our liquidity issues. You know that county governments are funded by allocations by the National Treasury. We also have some conditional grants from donors and so on. But the cash flows, from those sources are not always consistent, especially delays from the National Treasury and so on. So we have short-term liquidity needs that I think we can work together to deal with. The law, the Public Finance Management Act, and the Constitution of Kenya allows county governments to engage in short-term borrowing to address those short-term liquidity challenges. There is a framework now being developed by the Council of Governors to even allow county government to engage in longer-term borrowing. But with what we have, how can we work together in that sense? The other one is, again, you may have read it in the press in Kenya, Dr. Hassan. I'm sure that George Odhiambo knows about it. County governments and national government agencies have huge portfolios of pending bills. And that situation actually affects many small businesses. Where I sit as a county minister for finance, I sometimes get very depressing messages on my phone. 2-3 times in a week, I have to make up my mind whether I want to go to work, going by some of the things I get on my WhatsApp from people who are owed money by the county. People send all sorts of things, including their parents and relatives in hospital beds and so on, because they have not been paid. So we are asking ourselves, can we work with commercial banks such as yourself towards discounting of pending bills? Even if such a discounting arrangement is left voluntary to clients to opt into. And we think as county governments that we can do it without necessarily appearing to be borrowing as such. Especially if you leave that to the discretion of the client, whether they're opting into it. I mean, then it looks like it is the client actually. It's a company that is owed money by the county that is borrowing in a sense. I mean, if you're owed X amount of shillings by the county and we have put out our pending bills payment plan, which we are now required to do. We are required to formulate a pending bills payment plan and make it public. If you realize that in that plan, you're due for payment in 2 years, and Access Bank, National Bank, is going to give you your money now, but at a discounted rate of, say, 10%. It's you who is borrowing, not ourselves. So we go around the PFM. So these are some of the innovations that we would like to see, whether we can work together, beyond opening bank accounts. And of course, in project financing, we have some very good projects that county governments are involved in, most of which are actually able to be income generating in themselves. And again, I think we can work together to see how we can fund this. Finally, I've had people talking about the name and the brand and all of that. I don't know what the plan is. The response I've had is that we are not yet there. But I think it would be good to bear that in mind, especially for the public sector. I remember here in Kisumu, it took us quite some time to be able to work with National Bank. There were several visits by bank officials. I mean, for some time when I was here as minister for the past 2 years, I didn't get any moves from the bank. And then after some time, the bank started approaching us, and we embraced the bank in many ways, and we have many accounts, especially at this branch here called the Premium Branch. I think it will matter to us. It will matter to us if there's going to be a sudden change of name, because that word National Bank is very nice for government people. Where is your money? National Bank. That sounds very reassuring, even to the Auditor General. National Bank, I don't think money will get lost there. So let's think about that. I think that's what I wanted to say. But I can assure you that the services that we've gotten from the bank, actually speaking on behalf of the county government of Kisumu, have been very, very satisfactory. And we hope that even with the improvements that you have spoken about, we are going to have even better services. Thank you very much.
Quickly, to Mr. Owiti Edwin so much for hosting Ken and his team. And thank you also for providing feedback to us. Yours was not specifically a question, and there were remarks and feedback. You talked about the financial stability, profitability, and professionalism, and things that we did hear from Dr. Abdullahi. He mentioned to us, as a state corporation, it's true that you require assurance. 2 days ago, the day before yesterday, I spent 3 hours with the head of public service. I was with him in the office of Felix Kosgei. And these are some of the things that we did talk about. He didn't tell us that is his view. He told us go and find out from your customers who are state corporations what their views are about these particular issues. The change came too fast, that is true. The change came too fast. From 1968, having no national bank as what it was, then 2019, after 51 years, there was a new shareholder. I choose to look at it as an incubator because the government wanted to divest in financial services directly and did work with the bank that they had a stake in, that is KCB Group. It was not known to everybody what the intention, the long term was, but the short term we could see it was trying to find the bank to be stable and then possibly let it run alone or have another strategic partner. We speak in the feedback, and this one I'm going to pass to the Access Bank PLC through Dr. Abdullahi, that let this last forever. Let this last forever. To Honorable George Okomo, CC Finance and Economic Planning for the Kisumu County. You speak on behalf of institutions of government, and access to finance in our institution should not just be about bank account opening. I like also the book that you quoted, Mystery of Capital by Mr. Hernando. It is very insightful. But let me come back to closer what you are talking about. You talked about interventions on liquidity. We already have that solution and we do it for a number of counties. When your staff who are serving you and serving the public comes to Mansen and they're not able to access their payment consistently, it does not just affect their family, it also affects the obligations with the other partners that made obligations to, so that they cannot settle that one. We are taking that seriously. We are working in a number of counties, just to mention a few who are very active in our portfolio, Garissa County, like Kipia County, and also Mandera County. So that solution is championed by Alice and Ken Ouko, and they do provide this one. We need to engage beyond that, and that is one of the partnerships that we can do. We also understand that your sources of revenue, major national treasury allocation delays, and is a bureaucratic way of getting these funds reached to you, and the conditional grants cannot be diverted to other things. One of the things that we also partner in the county government is also how they elevate your source of revenue. You automate your collections and collect it for you, and we also help you spend money where revenue will be generated. A number of counties that we work with together and share our perspectives, we do give our views that most of their spending is on expenditure, services and products already incurred. We also want to encourage them to spend on investment, things that generate opportunities for new revenues, and that Ken and his team are basically paying attention to that. In terms of structuring the invoice discounting for the people whose bills are pending, in a way that doesn't look like they're borrowing, but look like they're being settled, and the partnership we have with you as a county is what we rely on as assurance for this to come. We look at the portfolio as a relationship, not a transaction. So we could still be able to do that by you doing more transactions with us on other areas. So this does not become the only leverage for us to be able to commercially relating that we do this for you, we get this. No. It could be that we settle them on your behalf. We know there's a pending payment going to come from either the source of the three I've mentioned, national treasury, own revenue, or conditional grants if they are aligned to that, so that other payments we can work together with you. Project financing is part of what our investment goal will be, leading towards. And being a citizen of this country and this region, it also matters to me what matters to you. So for government, the name national bank is not just a name. Many of us here were not available or were not of age when that was being done. 1963, when this country gained independence, there was no indigenous bank. The bank that was serving many people here was called Greenless Bank. And that Greenless Bank, the culture was European. And they didn't trust black Africans to be able to manage enterprises successfully. So getting access to loan was not easy. So the then cabinet of the late Jomo Kenyatta, president, they decided, let's open our indigenous bank. And in 1968, June 19, that's how National Bank of Kenya was incorporated. And 2 years after that, Greenless UK decided now that we don't have dominance of the financial sector in this country, let's get out of here. And they sold that bank, Greenless, in 1970 to Kenya government, and Kenya government called it Kenya Commercial Bank. So immediately the government had two banks they owned, and the government decided to keep them running separate because Greenless Bank, having sold to Kenya government in 1970, did not change the culture. It continued being English for a number of times, number of years. So that's how the emergence of the word national becomes very important. I traveled world over, and when I was living in Kigali for 10 years, anytime you mention national, it is a central bank. Central Bank of Rwanda is called National Bank of Rwanda. So when I was appointed the MD for National Bank of Kenya, I got so many congratulatory messages for being the regulator. So I had to go back and say, no, I'm not the regulator. It's just one of the banks. So the word national is so important to this government, the customers, and also to stakeholders. So we will navigate that road getting feedback from yourself. So I take feedback, Mheshimiwa George Okomo, and we thank you for sparing your money to speak to us. I saw one more hand up before I started responding. I don't know whether Dr. Hazard, you want something to say. This is now local, right? A bit of political ground. Many things are different in the ground.
No, yeah, thanks for that. And just to provide comfort to Edwin in terms of our commitments on customers. So we have 3 brand promises in speed, service, security. Right, those are 3 brand promises. Also, additional comfort is that over the last 23 years, the Access Group has done 25 mergers and acquisitions, right, and business combinations. So we seem to have gotten the technical expertise to be able to navigate this thing. So this is not the first time this is happening, right, in terms of business combination and getting the best out of the combined entity. So yes, that will. One thing that makes us win in every market that we play in is we don't have too much cultures in one room. We don't say, no, this is a South African culture, this is a Ghanaian culture. No, we just say we have a culture of excellence and inclusivity. Just everything in our operations, make it be excellent, right, and be inclusive, take everyone along. Then you can now begin to localize that excellence. So that is one thing that's kept us going. So the other issues are local issues. Honorable, thank you for the compliments and thank you for your time. Right, we in access we have Center of Excellence for every of our critical sectors. Right, so we have a Center of Excellence for public sector as well. So our guys in Zambia seem to have a gist of how public sector works. So we replicate those things. We have what we call contractor infrastructure development schemes to partner with the counties and the national government for working capital and project financing, infrastructure financing. So those are the offerings we'll be bringing to the table as we begin to go ahead with the business combination. Thank you very much.
Can you allow me to let us take this one first?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think ladies' hands are too short. In carrying and men's hands are being pushed. At some point I said, can I walk out? Thank you for your concern. Yes, I joined the National Bank in 1994. I've been very happy. Even when the color was big change to the luminous green to this color which is so nice. I have been traveling, and when I heard of this access and we could get it from other countries, I'm happy. And I'm going to be more happier when all others that have been talked about will be included. As a mother, I'm happy with the National Bank. Even during those days when I have to be in the house take care of babies, National Bank was with me. They would call me, give me presents. And even during these tough times, they still appreciate me by calling me for tea, like today. Is it not me? So we appreciate them. Let's give them a clap. I have journeyed with the National Bank. There are times when I used to walk with money from Kericho to Kisumu. And I asked the then Mr. Memo, I've arrived at night, where can I keep this money? He will organize with the soldiers, and I will keep the money. Then the following day, they will bank it. And then I requested, why don't we have some banking, ITM banking? It will be done, it will be done. It was done. And then I requested, why don't you have another branch in Kericho? It will be done. And it was done. And I'm hoping, even if everything that we have said here will be done with access. I wanted to highlight you on one thing that maybe I've been attending these meetings. There are those children that we opened for them the account. Those days in 1990, the year 2000. Yeah, the first one was 1990. They opened for them the account. And I could remember you doing for them that children's playground, they would play, day out. And they will use accounts. That my son first finished university. No job. I'm talking as a mother. And as a mother with the Gen Zs. When we organize a meeting like this, and as you go from one region to another, get the views of those parents of the mother of the Gen Zs who had an account in the National Bank. I was telling my son, this account now, you should work and keep money in it. Or we can change it. At some point they said, yeah, we can change it now to your account. Itoke kwa hiyo ya watoto. Let us take care of those children. I looked at Equity, the way they were educating those children. One day I worked for them an orphan, and they took care of some 2 children. One passed ahead from Form 4, and one did not pass. And so I went to them and I asked, now this one, you're moving with this one. And what about this one? They're all orphans. And they said, let him get another college and pray. Can we nurture even our children whom they have opened an account in this bank for 25 years? And right now they are graduates, they are sitting in a house, and as you are now expanding through the access, can you engage them? Go to everywhere you go, as the way you're moving to one place, get hold of them. I'm not talking about only my son, but even the sons of those others, because when we used to go for those playgrounds, the children were so many. And some of them, they never passed, yes, but some of them have passed. Can you look back and look for them and engage them? Even in those marketing, you can still wear the suits like this, your staff has been, and they can look for clients. And even then, they can even become clients. Like even me, I was a client. Those days, I was an account holder when I'm a student. And when I started my business, I came back. And today, I am here. Not with one account, but more accounts. So that is what I wanted to bring across. Thank you.
I think there's one more hand here. Maybe you can take.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Christine Griaro. I am a small CEO of a medical company based in Kisumu. I've been with National Bank for a few years now, I think since COVID. And my experience has been good. I bank at the premium Bank. And I'm so happy you guys are here. This has been a difficult process because we don't bank anywhere else, and we only have several accounts with National Bank. And all the changes that has happened in a few years has not been an easy process. And I'm happy that I get to speak at another lady has spoken. I thought I'll be the first lady to speak. Banking for women is an emotional process as well. I know men are you look at the numbers and everything has to align. But for me, it's my friendships and how I feel when I walk in the bank. And how I'm received and how I'm spoken to. And it's been a very exciting and fun process with Jerusa, who is my banker. And one of the things I love about National Bank is that it supports golf. And we were with you, Mr. MD, the last time we were in Kisumu here at Nyanza Club. We are members of Nyanza Club. There are several members of Nyanza Club here also. So I know I have full access to you. But I know I won't need to because the team here does a very good job. But because for me, banking and for women, banking is an emotional process. I'm so happy you guys came today to speak to us because we've not really been understanding what has been going on. And I think that is one thing National Bank needs to improve on communication. There's been very poor communication. And you know, when you go online right now, there's many things you'll find. And sometimes you'll find that when you go to mainstream media, you won't really get the information you want to read. You don't know what to believe nowadays. And you coming on board today and just explaining to us what has been happening is a good thing, and I appreciate that. Secondly, I would just maybe want to urge the bank to come up with solutions for women. Your competitors out there really have, actually they market billions of funds that has been set aside for women-owned enterprises or women-led enterprises. Right now, it's going to be almost like, I don't know, a game of chess or something. I want to walk to Jerusa's office and all she has is just goodies for me. I want the bank to call me and offer me things. Tina, you know there's this. Christine, you know there's this. Ebu, come and see this. So, and even as the way Madam has said, you know, if the accounts for children, let's know the accounts for children, this is what is coming up. We want to feel that difference. Let a year not go by and things are just the same. We have a new system, we have new account numbers. Someone said, I think you said we didn't have new account numbers. We do have new account numbers, which for me I think has been so difficult to figure out which account number is which account number. I use the last 3 digits and sometimes I'm always writing checks for the wrong accounts and Jerusa will call me, Christy, now you've written the wrong check, this is not that account, it is this one. So sometimes I feel, do I just leave her the checks and then I just sign and then she just does the business for me because I keep on confusing the account numbers. I don't know how that account number is because I'm used to the old account number. So you can imagine such small details just affect your customers. We just now feel that we are losing the bank and we are not there. And we even have a new internet software, I think, I don't know what to call it, the website. It's not allowing us pay our pay bills. The old one used to allow us now go to the run your transactions, everything from company to company. But another company has a pay bill, you just transact and then you send. This new one is not allowing us pay on buy goods, and so I have to withdraw money, put it on my phone, then pay for a pay bill, and you see now that gap is there unless I do a check to the other company. So if you can work on that so that we just pay these small transactions on pay bill and buy goods, I think that would be okay. And yeah, I think that is just it. Please improve on communication. Send us those goodies on our telephone numbers or on our emails. We want to just see goodies from now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate that I'm here. My name is Veronica Otieno. I'm a teacher. So far, no teacher has spoken, so I'll speak on their behalf. First and foremost, I want to appreciate National Bank for inviting me to come and listen to what I've listened to today. Today I've known the director and another director, so that builds my knowledge. I'm a teacher. I am a head teacher of a comprehensive school in this city. First of all, I want to appreciate National Bank Kisumu branch for creating a parking space for us as customers. It has never been there. But I want to appreciate that now we can park and get into the bank, and even persons with disability can now access that space. Congratulations, the director or the branch manager of the branch in the city. I want to join my other bankers within the hall to say that this brand has competitive advantage over others. So I would also join them in pleading that the brand remains. And to the director, Dr. Abdullahi, thanks for coming and thanks for your presentation. Now, as you are giving your presentation, I learned that you are having 576 branches in Nigeria. So this is this Access Bank is based there, and I know it has its cultures. And you are having 26 branches in Kenya. Is there a branch of Access Bank branch in Kisumu? Maybe respond to that. Kisumu, you are having 133 employees, and in Nigeria you have 4,998. So my question is, now that National Bank will be a subsidiary of Access Bank, KPMC, will there be a National Bank branch in Nigeria and other cities in Nigeria, so that it's a subsidiary of your Access, yes, but can Kenyans go and work in the National Bank in Nigeria and remain a subsidiary of Access Bank, KPMC? That's my first question. Schools have their culture, and we have enjoyed this being served in the National Bank. We don't take long when we go there, and I want to appreciate the staff both at the main branch and at the premium branch. So this is a culture that we would not wish to lose. So as we get into this, we would plead that you get to know the culture that we enjoy as customers, so that you carry that forward, so that we don't move away from this bank. Thank you very much. That is all I have.
Yeah, thank you. That was a leading session of questions. I didn't get the first name, but I really appreciate the comments that you made. The need to appreciate and recognize loyalty from childhood. You made a decision for your son to have an account in National Bank of Kenya. When he grew up, he accepted it and stayed. So it's a fair comment, it's a fair ask. Irrespective of the limitations sometimes that we do have, we pay attention to such details. And I would possibly look forward to my regional manager in Kisumu here getting in touch with you. Speaking about your ask for Kericho, it is true National Bank of Kenya at some point did close the branch in Kericho, and 14 years back went back to Kericho and is still doing business in Kericho. I was there 3 weeks ago to visit the staff and pay courtesy call to the governor of Kericho, Governor Mutai, and we did have conversations on what touches on the issues of Kericho County as well. So I appreciate your feedback. Basically, yours was to recognize and appreciate loyalty and also share whatever we can have. 1994 to now is not a short time. It is over 3 decades, and we are grateful, and we are truly grateful for the support you've given to the bank. Just touching on what Abdullahi mentioned in terms of public sector, even though the Honorable CC has gone, centers of excellence in Access Bank Group are not necessarily in one country. Zambia has a center of excellence existing for public sector. The second center of excellence for public sector is Kenya, because we have a history of working with the public sector as well. The other centers of excellence we are creating in Kenya, Islamic banking and also bank assurance. So we do appreciate that feedback and also take it seriously. To Christine, thank you so much for candid feedback. In fact, in other areas we call it raw, is unfiltered. Our communication can be better. And with me in this forum is the Director of Marketing, Corporate Communication and Citizenship. I will support my team and support Bernadette so that our communication goes to a new level. We share the love of golf. My team, I have golfers in the organization, and they will continue working closer with you. My customer, Rile Falcon, who sponsored the last one, also is someone that we look forward to working with. I still remember in that session, the runway number 10 and number 18 are flooded. And the club is looking in terms of that, and your trustee, Dr. Honorable Oburu Dinga, also reached out to me later and asked me not to forget the clubhouse, even though he didn't mention it there. So I have not gotten time to go and look at it. We thank you for appreciation of the good job the premium team does, Jerusalem and her team, and they serve you. And we also look forward to having what is available to us reaching you many times. To the job that you do every day, taking care of the healthcare of the people who visit you, we appreciate you so much because this area needs much of that. We do not see much traffic of people coming to Kisumu for healthcare. We see people going to Nairobi. Because of the work you're doing, some people start coming from other places to here for those kind of services. Solutions for Women is work in progress. We've partnered with stakeholders who are developing specific products. 2 years ago, we did launch specific ones that we are seeing support coming, women doing things in engineering, doing things in infrastructure development, and doing things in agriculture. We continue to support them. And we also continue to link them with other customers as well. We continue to working on the feedback they're getting on the new internet banking solution, the payment solutions that are not necessarily supporting your previous needs. So I ask Ken and the team to continue listening to that feedback, and we'll get back to you through Jerusalem or directly from our technology team. Relationship is very important to us in banking. We'll continue to build on that. In the interest of time, allow me then to take the next one, and we'll continue the conversation with Christine at another time. Veronica, speaking on behalf of all the teachers. I was once a teacher, I have a TSC number, and I didn't use it so much. I understand what you go through, and I sit in the DOM of some schools in this region, and I can relate with what teachers go through sometimes. The small things that matter to you in terms of keeping time running to a bank, you find a parking, then you serve and you go back, is not something that we take lightly. The feedback on the brand, competitive advantage it offers, we've listened to that as well. We've taken note to pass this feedback to the shareholder again and again. When you're talking about having branches of National Bank elsewhere, I know you're talking figuratively, but the gist of the matter is, do Kenyans have opportunities to go and work in those places other than here where Access Bank has a business? It would impress you to know that the head of card systems in Access Bank Nigeria is Florence Owuor from Homa Bay. He sits in Lagos. And those are the opportunities and the possibilities. Florence is a seasoned banker. Some of you may have met her. And anytime we walk into that city of Lagos, which has 10 million people, at least I know there's someone from Homa Bay that I will greet in vernacular. And also work in the same organization. So there are those possibilities. And do we look forward to having some people from other places that we work with in Kenya? Already have in my team 2-3 people from Nigeria, one person from Zambia, one person from Rwanda. So we are going to make people to thrive. And this provides opportunity for more the lady Madam was talking about. If we can export labor, those are the young people that we could in front to export labor. If we export those who are already in our system, they provide room behind them for people to cover. I'm a true testimony of exported labor. For 10 years I worked in Rwanda, I paid taxes in Rwanda, I lived there, I spoke the local language. So you don't miss us anywhere. Let's encourage our children, young people to be able to reach out to any opportunity outside legitimately. Let them not go through the illegal routes and the boats of Mediterranean. People don't cross over safely sometimes. Yeah, the schools have their culture, and I also appreciate Veronica. I will look forward to get in touch with you more and more. I visit Jerusalem more frequently, and I also love the services I get there. So, if I take 10 minutes, there 8 minutes will be us catching up on other things. My service just takes 2 minutes. And not because I'm the MD of National Bank, because that's how she serves Christine, and that's how she serves any other customer. Thank you so much, Tino Ojanga, for fronting for the parking for the front of your bank, and also to Steve Oigo and the branch managers, all that we work with closely. I would want to stop it there and possibly, for the interest of time, have Abdullahi make a few remarks and then get it back to Benedict. On this one, then Benedict will guide us next step. I don't know whether there's another set of questions or not. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Benedict, what do you?
Thank you so much. I am very tempted at this point to close because I don't see any hands, and in the interest of time, I think we want to go to the next very short session that I will invite somebody else to speak, and I think I'm right, there are no other hands. So I want to thank you as the two principals of the bank for the questions and very well articulated. Welcome Emmanuel Oduor, who is the ATS Tours team lead, to talk shortly about our trip to Turkey and Dubai, just to let our customers know and to tell you how to navigate around this. So, please.
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I hope you're well. Are you happy? I'm glad to get that feedback. Well, I'll start off from where Dr. Abdullahi mentioned, Kisumu to the world. And my specific focus when I mention about Kisumu to the world is in regards to the trip that we have coming up. There's a trip to Turkey and Dubai from the 6th to the 16th of September this year. And just to let you know about why we chose Turkey. So number one, Turkey is among the top 20 economic giants globally. Secondly, Turkey is a manufacturing hub. And of course, we all know that other than Turkey, of course, the number one manufacturing hub of the world is China. But the difference between Turkey and China is Turkey, because of its location, it actually manufactures mostly for Europe. So what that means is, in terms of quality, you're going to get the quality that is meant for Europe. When you travel to China, you'll find that most, as they're doing their manufacturing, they have specific products for specific regions. So you find that a company probably is doing products that are specific for Africa, are specific for Europe and all that. But with Turkey, yes, there'll be a bit of modification also, because depending of course on the weather and all that, but the standards will be European standards. And that is the advantage that actually Turkey provides when it comes to their manufacturing. Number two, Turkey is also known for cottage industries. You'll find that most of the companies in Turkey are actually family owned. So it gives us also that exposure into how are they able to do it? How are they able to pass these companies into even the third generation and the fourth generation going forward? Probably, and I have noticed, that is a challenge that we have actually as a country, moving the company from the first generation, the founders of this company, to the second generation. And I think even as we look forward to more training with regards to how to handle the Gen Zs better, that is also something that we can be exposed to when we actually travel to this country. So our trip will be touching on 3 cities. It will be touching on Bursa, which is the industrial city of Turkey. It will be touching on Istanbul, which is the commercial city of Turkey. And lastly, we'll be going to the logistics hub of the world, which is Dubai. Okay. As you can look, if you can see the screen actually, we mentioned just some of the sectors that will be covered during this trip. So the trip is multi-sectoral, it is not focused on one sector, it is multi-sectoral. So whichever sector you are in, actually you have a chance to this as well. Maybe before I forget, the other bit is Turkey is opening itself to the world. And maybe you realize that I'm talking too much about Turkey than about Dubai. Turkey is opening itself to the world. And the government is actually providing so much incentives to investors. And this includes even investors who are investing in other countries. These incentives include probably warehouses and things like that. And during this trip also we are working closely with the Trade Department of the Turkish Embassy just to ensure that we have more value from this trip. And there could be actually instances whereby you are able even to partner with some Turkish companies for franchising or other franchising in Kenya. So that is also an opportunity that you can look forward to as you join this trip. And all this actually is just coming for an investment, and I call it an investment because there is real ROI on this one. An investment of 3,480 per person sharing and 3,975 per person on single. That's the investment. And it's a partnership between ATS Travel and NBK to ensure that you get that exposure and you are able also to get that networking kickstart. And the last, as I finish, is for you to register on this trip. You just need to scan the QR code that you see on the screen, or you can see anyone from the bank, including registering yourself at the desk outside. As I finish, my question is, why not? Why not be part of this trip to Turkey? Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing all of you in this trip.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. And I hope that our customers have heard how beneficial this trip is. And we're looking forward to lots of registrations this morning. Before I call Jerusha to close for us with a word of prayer, there is a question that has been whispered to my ear. And one of our customers has an account in Access Bank Nigeria. They're wondering if they can remove their money from here in Kenya. And I didn't answer, although I probably have an idea, but I want the principals who are designated to answer the questions to earn their breakfast, isn't it? Yeah, let them answer.
Thank you so much, Benedict. That brings me to the other question that we were to take offline, account numbers changes. What Christine noticed that is when we changed our core banking system early last year, we did communicate new account numbers. And those account numbers were supposed to be able to incorporate us to the previous shareholder so that we could have interoperable accounts from all the countries. Okay, that's commercial break. Oh, thank you. Those account numbers changes from early last year that were communicated. They still work both the old and the new. Access Bank Kenya transaction with the National Bank of Kenya has not created any change of account. We're still going to operate in the core banking system that you have, and those account numbers will not change. If there is any change for a good reason, we will be able to then communicate to that. The other question of if you have an Access Bank account in a branch in Nigeria and you have an account in National Bank of Kenya, can you be able to move your money? We are investing in what we call technology bridge. This should be able to come to life towards mid of August. What we are trying to do is to open up National Bank of Kenya so that the accounts are interlinked in a way that we can relay transfers. It is on the way coming. It is a good ask. It is an expectation of being in a family that you can access all the rooms in that home. So work in progress. Stay close to your branch manager because we'll be getting this information firsthand when we roll it out through testing and going live. Thank you so much, Bernadette. I hope I've earned my dessert.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much. Now I call upon Jerusha, our Premier Manager, to please close the session with a word of prayer.
Thank you. I think we can stand up as we make this prayer. And I love singing, so we can just sing just one stanza of this Thanksgiving song, and I conclude my prayer. Twasema asante, twasema asante, twasema asante, ewe Mungu wa Baba, twasema asante, leo twasema asante, twasema asante, ewe Mungu wangu. Our dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this moment. We want to thank you for the privilege of giving us as Access Group to meet with our customers. We want to thank you even for the insights, for the questions that they've had and the answers that they've been given. We want to thank you for the loyalty that they've had in the brand. We want to thank you for the time that, Lord, you've given us even to interact together today, this morning. We even thank you for the opportunity that they've had just to come to this event. Not everybody made it, but they've been able to be here. And we thank you and we don't take it for granted, Jehovah God. Even as a financial institution, Jehovah King of Glory, we want to pray that, Lord, you are going to offer solutions to our customers, Jehovah Father. We are going to be at the point of their financial needs, Jehovah King of Glory. Thank you for our customers who are in various industries, Father. We pray that, Lord, you may meet them at the point of their needs, Jehovah Father. Whatever visions and missions they have for their brands and even their work, Jehovah God, we pray that, Lord, you may come through, Jehovah Father. There are those in the health sector, we just pray that, Lord, they may impact the society. Those that are in the agribusiness, we just pray that, Lord, they may impact the society. Those that are in construction and even in the health sector, we just pray that, Lord, they may impact the society, Jehovah Father. Those that are in lecturing, those that are in legal, those that are in governance, Jehovah Father, we pray that, Lord, you may come through for them, Jehovah Father. And as a bank, we just pray that, Lord, we will stand there and even support them through their journey, Jehovah King of Glory. Thank you and we glorify your name, Jehovah King of Glory. As we will conclude this time, Father, we pray that, Lord, you may be with us. Go with us, Father. Bless the works of our hands, Jehovah Father. We pray all this trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. God bless you.
Thank you so much and for honoring us with your presence. Thank you very much and a very, very beautiful day ahead and blessed time. Thank you and good day.